Hello, if you are there. If I haven't scared you all off with my streaming ineptitude. Should probably check the levels as well. So Streamlabs, recent events, Stream Manager, and then I can do my old arrangement of nonsense. Does that work? Yes, that works. So I seem to be up and running. John Sugar, thanks for hanging around and letting me know. What I've ended up doing is going back to Streamlabs, not Streamlabs, just normal OBS, because the Streamlabs OBS has crashed non-stop since trying to stream tonight, and I have no idea what it is. I have no idea. Yesterday it was perfect. Started it for the first time, set it up, worked perfectly. So I don't really know. Don't really know what's up. All I know is old school OBS is still working, so I'm going to continue with that, and hopefully that doesn't crash, though I'm not sure why it would. Looks like the browser source things are working. If I replay Sam's alert event, alerts working, so cool. I guess I'll stick with the old OBS for now, and maybe just try Streamlabs OBS periodically to see if it's stabilized. My goodness, 25 minutes into, or later than when I wanted to start streaming. I am super on edge. Okay, what I wanted to do for today was to work on a Laravel Livewire app that I started a few weeks ago. If you were here, you would have seen this. For a recap, for those of you who are new to this particular project, I help to manage a team of devs at my day job, and one of the things we're trying to do better is get grounded feedback for the devs and generally for people in the whole company, where instead of just asking, okay, what feedback do you have for Bob, and getting the predictable answer, oh no, it's really nice working with Bob, the idea is to try and get more concrete feedback. So a little rendering error here. I ask a series of questions and give myself a rating, 0 to 2, and put any context I want to in the comment box. So we've been doing this for a few people at Indie, which is where I work now. And generally, feedback has been, of the people who are rating themselves, has been, yeah, this is interesting, because the questions help them think through practical parts of their job and ways that they want to learn or grow. But what I want to do is add an aspect of this where you could give feedback for someone you work with, not just for yourself. And then those people can see that feedback in a way that helps them know what to improve in their dev, or their QA, or their customer service, or whatever. So that's what I wanted to do today. There are a couple bugs just with the self-reflection area, which is one of the bugs is that if you go through this pretty quickly and then you come back, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes it's not reloading this. You see that I've gone forward again. It didn't save the 2 that I had there, or the 1 that I had there. See, like sometimes it's just not loading these things, which is weird, right? And sometimes it saves into the database, and sometimes it doesn't, and I am super confused about that whole process. So what I wanted to do was fix those bugs. Oh, that's not going to work. Artisan serve, and then in a different tab, indie measure, open up VS Code here. And I think the simplest solution, because I know in the database it's saving these things. I could go and have a look, actually. Let me open up SQL Pro. Okay, so measure prod. I don't mind showing some of this. Come on. Answers. Okay, so I know it's saving these values, like these are the two values that I just saved, but sometimes it's not rendering them correctly. So I think I want to take the simplest approach, which is once you save a value, reload the model that is in memory. Livewire, reflect. You see, I've got this thing here where it's not there, it's actually in answer questions, where I can also show you the front end view, and then you'll understand this a little bit clearer. Based on the question, I show a few radio inputs, and then I've got my question, my comment or context block. And so here I load this in just using the new Laravel 7 component syntax for Livewire. And so I get the user ID, and that helps me load the user in answer questions. Answer questions has these keys. And then on mount, I get the user and save that. I get the date that they've selected and the current question, which just defaults to the first question in the list, this quality of work question. And then on forward and back, these buttons down at the bottom here, I switch the question out. So on back, I get the previous question and store what question that is to display. And on forward, I get the next question, unless you're right at the end and you've answered them all, and then I emit an event for the container reflection component to say, okay, you're done, congratulations. And then I also reset the starting question again. So you could go all the way to the end of them and then complete, and it says, yeah, you're done. And when you go back to reflect again, it'll take you back to the first question. So you can see them and answer again. Like when you go back into the same date, you don't land in the last question. That's what I did there. And then when you submit an answer, like when you pick a number, it says on change answer, and here on change comment underscore. And so what's happening there, it's possible that if you click, then Livewire doesn't have enough time to do the round trip to the server and update the DOM. Yes, so that is a very good suggestion, actually, is just to disable those buttons, and I think I want to do that. Maybe, you know what, maybe that actually will solve this as well, without me having to do the nuclear option that I wanted to do, which was to read from the database again. I thought I was reading from the database again. Let me show you what I was doing to reflect that. It's when you change, where is change? On change, it's getting the current answer, changing its the current answer record, changing that field's value and saving it, and then freshing it. What I thought I was doing is this answer equals answer fresh. I thought I was doing that. Apparently I wasn't reassigning that. So maybe that was a thing I could do. Oh, don't you hate it when you like try and drag the window but you're actually doing something else? So if I go through here quickly, yeah, that's not loading some of them. So it is potentially the thing that you suggested, which is that Livewire doesn't have enough time for a round trip. So maybe we can do wire loading. How did, actually, let me go to the Livewire docs for this. See, I have them pinned. I use them a lot now. So there is a wire loading. There we go. Wire loading attribute disabled. That is exactly what I was looking for. So this will essentially do that disabling while the value is being saved to the server. Oh, this weird rendering bug. It's probably something up with my CSS. Okay, back to the beginning. Dev, I'll just change to 1. Testing, I'll change to 0. Communication, I'll change to 0. This I'll leave at 1, and this I'll change to 2. Weird, hey? Oh, flip. It's... Okay. I guess I should test on the local system. Don't laugh at me, okay? I wasn't pushing that stuff to the server. You're allowed to laugh at me a little bit. Just a tiny bit. Okay, reflect. Oh, that's weird. This stuff must not have been pushed to the server. 0, 1, 1, 2, 0. 0, 1, 1, 2, 0. Doesn't save 0. That's interesting. Why doesn't it save 0? Is that in the database? That's very kind of you. It's kind of you to not laugh too much. So that 0 is in the database. I think the problem here is that if that is equal to, so I is 0, I is less than that, I plus plus, so it'll be 0, 1, 2. And here, if answer question is equal to I, I'm actually just going to change that to a double equals in case it's not being cast correctly when it comes back from the server. Back, forward. No, weird. That's super weird. Let me print this out. I'll do it over here. Oh, I'm in tab hell. Nope. Oh. 0, null, null. 0, 1, 1, 2, 0, null. 0, 1, 1, 2, 0, null. There, it's not selected. Maybe this is a keying related thing, hey? Maybe this is a key related thing. In reflect, answer is, hold on. User ID date. Question is get the current question. Answer says get the answer for this date. Maybe I need to update. Okay, firstly, this key seems a bit useless to me. I'll delete that. Maybe I need to get the answer in reflect, not inside answer questions. That's the first thing. So let me do that. If not this date, then return null. Because I want to key on answer updated at, because then it'll always be the freshest answer data. Okay, that's what I want to do here. So, okay, so if not this date, return null. Otherwise, return, and let's actually just change this to auth, wait. Yeah. Auth user ID. This is this. Actually, let me, no, it's fine. I'll repeat it, it's fine. So if you don't have a date, return null. If you do have a date, try and get the current answer for this date. And if there's an answer, return that. Otherwise, make a new one and return that. Okay. That means that in reflect, we don't have to pass the user here anymore because there's nothing to remember that. But we do have to pass the answer. And then in answer questions, instead of taking in the user, don't need that anymore, we can take in the answer. And so that'll be this answer. Answer save, answer is fresh. Don't actually have to do that anymore. This answer, this answer. And maybe we just emit to say answer updated. Emit on answer updated. And then if we listen for that inside reflect, we can say this updated at is this answer updated at. Just to, like, I guess, jog the key of this. It's quite a roundabout way that I'm doing this. What was the key syntax for this actually? Wire key, making components. What is the special key command? Properties. Oh, come on. Component features. Validation. What's this about? Oh, that's actual form validation. Nesting components. Key. Okay. So it's this. Okay. Now, what I'm trying to do is bust the cache for. Weird. I'm not exposing answer here. Oh, also it's a private method. I remember now. In fact, get answer attribute. And then I should actually just be able to say answer again. I think that's the syntax for attributes in Livewire. If not, I will, I guess, check. Nope. What is the syntax for attributes? Data binding, updating the query string, casting properties, computed properties, get post property. Oh, gross. Why is it different? Why is it different from models? This is the great question. No, wrong. How's it used? It's probably used in some different way as well. Get post property, and then in here, this post. Yes. Totally useless suggestion just occurred to me. If you add an assertion to the Laravel base test class, so you could do this assert Chris, that would only return true if the username is Chris. Yes. Yes, that's great. It's fantastic. That answer class is not defined though. If you look in answer questions, we're putting it in there. So we need to put it in here because now we are fetching this for the first time in here. String given. Reflect. Answer this answer. Do I need to do this ugly thing? And then in answer questions, just use a int ID. If that's the problem, I'm gonna get cross. No! Answer questions answer does not exist. Where does that get used? Is that used in the view? Where's that used? What? Method, that. Okay, resources views reflect.blade. Reflect.blade. This answer. Okay, look, I'm changing it back to this because it is really confusing the stuffings out of me. What? Reflect.blade has answered questions. This answer ID. What is going on here? When you hit reflect, it picks the current date, but because you've had selected dates, because you haven't selected the date yet, it shows the date selector. This should refer to the Livewire component. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to restructure it so that answer is a property instead. Instead of that, actually no, I will do answer. What I want to do is move the answer up from the answer questions thing because doesn't seem to be working out well for me. I want to pass it the answer record that answer questions updates. I think that will resolve this caching thing. So instead I'm going to say public answer, and then when you select a date, I'm going to do this stuff. And actually, the only reason I'm going to, yeah, I will actually keep it as a property. That's fine. But let me do that because then it's a property that exists on this class, and then I don't need to figure out whether I'm doing like a this answer fresh. Okay, let me try this. Undefined variable updated at. That's fine. What I can do is answer updated at. How am I using this that it is looking for an answer method? Is this like a stupid caching thing that I'm messing with here? We get lang, we get markdown lang, answer is just a variable, answer. No, man. Where is this thing that it is now looking for an answer method? On change, answer underscore, answer ID, answer ID, answer ID. I can't figure out where this thing is happening. Maybe the view is caching it. Storage, app, no, framework views. Maybe this has not been rebuilt since I changed some stuff. It's the only thing I can think of. This method's not being called anywhere that I can see. No. What? Answer questions render. Where can I find the view name that this is generating from? The method. No, I don't even have the answer method anymore. Public, 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 public. This is all public properties. Over here, date, question, this answer. Oh, I'm not actually defining that. I'm not actually defining that as a property. Weird. No, but that doesn't change it either. Answer find or fail with answer ID updates that. There's the answer model. So found it. Undefined variable answer. Found it. Doing lookups inside render. Interesting. What's that error about? Log render child, ID component, ID tag name. What's this error from? Huh? What's that error from? I've never seen that error before. Is that related to the key that I've added now? Seems like it's related to the key. Why can't you do that? I don't seem to be having a very good Livewire day today, it seems. So what's wrong with that being the key? Okay, 1, 2, 0, 0, 0, 0. They're all zeros. Cool. Maybe that's my that's why the triple equals was there. Okay. Because null apparently equals 0. There we go. Can we change them all to 2 and then check? 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Seems to be refreshing them. So I think, oh, I got something flying around here. I think perhaps keying with the updated timestamp is a potential solution to having it always show the latest database data. which is kind of what I was trying to aim for. Another bug that was happening was when you put a comment in here and you go forward, it was keeping the comment. Look, it's still doing it. It's still doing it. Why? Oh, I want to comment that out. Why? That's what I want to know. It's a common question. I think I need to have a wire change in here as well. Not a wire change, a key in here as well. Key. Answer updated at that comment for question with updated at. Weird. Hello, Asjez. Good to see you. Okay, I think that's potentially a solution to this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this record from the answers. And then go back to reflect and then see. Okay, weird rendering bug. What? Okay. 0, 1, 2. 2, 1, 0. 0, 1, 2. What I saw was that when I did check here, so 1 and then some stuff, you see there's like a little, delay there. I didn't actually do it. See, it actually nukes that content if you do it too quickly. I should probably disable the fields as well if loading is happening. So if that's loading, disable, and if it's loading, disable that as well. Lol, what's going on with this? Hello? Why is that not going away? Hello? What did I do? I broke it. As just you broke it. What happens? Is it because I added that on? Sometimes I feel like doing Livewire right is just a series of putting keys on things to cache bust the DOM. What on earth? Why is this all broken? JavaScript errors. Event.target. Event's not an object. What? When does that error happen? That. But not familiar with Laravel. Can't help you. Yeah. What are you working on? PHP. Oh yeah, you're a Symfony person, hey, Asjez? You're a Symfony person. They're cool people. Weird. So I think part of the keying that I did has disturbed the balance. 0, 1, 2. Keying this, or disabling it actually, I think, yeah. I don't actually know if we need to disable it in this case. What is this error? Do I have like a... What is the thing that's overlapping this? Because that thing seems to have this weird rendering bug where the page has to resize before it'll show. So as is, Livewire is basically just like a big old turbo links thing on top of Laravel. Which means that I can define components like this that have properties and that manipulate state, and I can render a view, and within my front end I can load those dynamic properties, and I can trigger events on change. Yeah, call actions that manipulate state and so forth. So that updates the front end based on content that's going on in the back end, or state manipulation that's going on in the back end. And I was in the process of trying to fix bugs with this. Yeah, so that bug of... I'm not really sure why I can't key or disable this and then have it continue to function. I don't really get that. But I think these bugs of comment context staying in here and radios not being populated might be at a point where oh, you know what it did? You know what it did? I understand what went wrong there. I do. I really do. Yeah, I need to refresh that. So 0, 1. I'll explain what went wrong now. 2. So if I go back to 1, see, it's still not fixed completely. I don't understand this. If there's a transcoding option available, it might be possible to change down to a lower res if that's the issue. I don't appear to have dropped many frames since starting over with old OBS, but maybe there is some latency. There is a undersea cable called the wax cable between Africa and Europe that was severed last week, and so the net speed between here and Europe is suffering as a result of that. But yeah, it doesn't look like it's lagging for me. Sorry if it is. You know what? This hasn't solved the problem. Moving this answer up has not solved the problem. So I'm going to go back to what it was. I'm just going to undo all that work. But I suspect it might be this. That's the problem. Some caching system to do with the component syntax. And so I'm going to try the old syntax for a start. Okay, I'm going to try the old syntax for a start. Will this still work? 0, 1, 2, Z, O, O for 1, and T for 2. O for 1, Z for 0. So it is periodically not loading that radio option, but if I remember correctly, in answer questions, even though I was doing this, I was not reassigning it. This answer is answer fresh. So we've got our 0, 1, 2, C for 0, O for 1, T for 2, 1, 1, 2, 2. Weird. 0, 1, 2, Z, O, 2, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2. It does definitely seem like some kind of diffing thing that's not going on. However, I'm not keying this, so maybe I should be keying this. Tell you what, it bugs me that I don't have answers directly for a date. Public function answer for date. Yes, you can include any PHP code you want. So Blade shortcuts some stuff, but it compiles down to PHP code. So you can do this. Inside these evaluate blocks, you can do PHP code. Inside of these, this is another evaluate block. Inside of this, you can do PHP code. So there are instances where you can do PHP code directly. If you want to do it outside of any of those control structures or evaluation blocks, you can say PHP, NPHP, which is absolute garbage. I hate this, but it is possible to use like that. Of non-objects. You see how this thing gets rewritten? It's really weird. Anyway, this gives us a key that changes with the answers updated at. So 1, 2, Z, O, T, 0, 1, 2. Let me delete that record and try again. Yes, this doesn't blank out. If you want to accept templates as user input but don't want them to be able to write PHP, it does escape by default. Oh, I see what you're saying. If you want them to be able to contribute templates, but then they could potentially also do that ugly PHP and PHP thing. I don't know. I don't know. View render. I guess if we dive into the vendor code for Laravel, we might be able to see framework, source, view, engines, PHP engine. How does this do it? This evaluate path does some output buffering, it extracts and it includes. So no, you would not want to take user evaluated templates, user submitted templates. You would not want to do that, because this will just include it. Yeah. So that key is not working for us. We should do a key here. But maybe the key to doing that key is to emit this, emit on answer changed. We can get rid of that. Yeah, it does seem unsafe to do that in here. At least I wouldn't do it through this. Okay, maybe what we can do with on answer changed is public updated at. This updated at is now timestamp, and public public, oh my goodness, function on answer changed. This updated at just the property. This updated at, and then instead of using the records updated at in reflect, we can just use the updated at value, which is a timestamp value. It's not unsetting that. This makes me so angry. This makes me so angry. This render bug makes me even angrier. Oh, let's see. I'll swap those two around. Okay. Back at the beginning, let's check with this method. Gets emptied, loads that back, loads that back. Empty. Okay. In addition to updated at, we'll also do question. Define variable question. Inside reflection, we can't do question because we don't have it at this point. But inside answer questions, we could potentially do it. Wire. I'm so ashamed of all this code. Wow, a whole bunch of people. If you're new in chat, please say hi. Love to meet you. Weird how it wasn't loading that. Oh, it's because I was in like a very advanced question. Okay. Oh, that render bug will kill me. Oh. just loads that in. Just how's it going? Just a new input element. Totally fine. What is going on? This is madness. 0. Why does it reload those again? Answer question. Zero, 1, 2, back 1, 0, 1, 2, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2. So I think it's a combo of things that we need to do. Firstly, this it looks useless if you put a key at the top level div, because that had seemingly no effect on any of my controls. So that was the first thing I think I want to avoid, is trying to put wire key on the containing element, because it doesn't look like that reloads or re-renders. The other thing is that in order to force answer questions to refresh, I've got this updated at, which changes every time the answer record changes. So it just reloads the whole, re-renders the whole component. I might, given my nesting of this key div, I might be able to remove that concept of keying. Might be able to comment this whole thing out, comment this out. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, so we're back at the beginning. Let's delete the record. Zero. 1, 2, blank, 2, 1, 0. Yeah. I actually think that's quite a bit easier. It avoids the round trip to force a refresh. This doesn't need to be set here. So the only thing that's changed is that I don't even need to emit this anymore. The only thing that's changed is that I should probably say this answer is this answer fresh, to reload this record with the freshest of data, and nesting this div with a key that changes on the question. I think that's potentially the only thing that I need to change in order to force it to reload. But I'll do another test now that all of that updated at stuff is gone. What happened? Oh. Not really sure about that, but anyway. Okay, so render actually does this. I can... Oh, right there. Weird oversight. 0, 1, 2, 1 0 1 2 2 0 1 0 2 2 1 0. Okay, I think that's behaving now. I'm much more confident about that. So calling on change actually forces this re-render, which loads the new record from the database anyway. And inside answer questions, keying on the question seems to clear out the comment box as I wanted. So I guess my main learning from this is that's ineffectual. That's what I need to be doing. Hard lesson to learn because I did very little to fix it, and it took a very long time. That should actually fix the bugs though, I think. So what all changed? Answer fresh, whatever. Useless. I don't know why. But then having this key in here is the big change. I'm keying these fields. I probably don't need to key the fields either, or not all of them at least. Certainly not the comment block. I don't need to key. Oh, and the thing that I wanted to do was, now that I'm reminded about this, from John Sugar, is wire loading attributes is disabled. So don't allow go back and go forward while it is writing to the database, because you're going to get like weird, unpredictable things. Cool. Let's just take a look at that code again quickly in case there's anything. Nah, I think it's fine. That doesn't seem to have disabled the buttons though. Wire loading attribute. That didn't appear to do it for me, unless it just happened so quickly that it was difficult to notice. Wire loading attribute disabled. Cool, so straight from the docs. Yeah, it's exactly the same. Okay, well, I can push this git add, git commit, fix the comment and reloading bug, I think. Well, that's not going to work now because I got an error. Cool. Oh, music stopped. I apologize for the few seconds of abject silence. Let's try this. Hello. YouTube music, what are you doing? Do I need to reload your terrible personage? What happened? Stream still looks up. Did something go wrong? I think the music was actually still playing. I just had my earphones turned all the way down. So there's that. Cool. Not embarrassing at all. Just a day full of embarrassing things. Hey, in case you didn't know, because you weren't here, Sam subbed for like a long time on my channel, and it's really cool for me because he is the 4th sub and he's been supporting me on Patreon for a long time, and the guy's just full of support. So if you see him, give him a pat on the back. Proverbially, you're probably in a different place and you're probably socially distancing or self-isolating, so don't give him a physical pat on the back. I'm sure that's not what he wants at this point in time, but say hi because he's a really cool guy. And if you live in a country that has Amazon Prime, you know what? You can sub to the channel for absolutely free. You won't pay anything for it, but then I get a little bit of support, which would also be cool. No pressure though. It's just great being here and interacting in chat. I dig that. Especially the last few days, hey? The last few streams I've had, chat has been so busy, including today, offering suggestions and helping me out, that it's just made things that, like, bits of work that could have been terribly boring or error prone, a lot more fun. So I really appreciate that conversation in chat. I should drink some coffee. Okay. For an hour, I have fixed 2 bugs, both related to keying, I think. Hello. I can't ignore you. You're unignorable. Hello. Okay. I want to at least make a start at the... Oh, you know what? Actually, I probably won't get too far at the peer reflection stuff. But here, what I wanted to do is replace this date selector with like a calendarish thing where you can see the last few days when you added stuff for. But I don't want to do it in JavaScript. I want to do it in PHP. And I haven't done PHP calendars in a very long time. So let me see what's available. Facebook events calendar, booking system, timetable. I don't want JavaScripty calendars. Event calendar. I don't want JavaScript. E-calendar. No. Let's go trawl packages. If you're in chat and you have used a calendar thing that you like, then let me know. Drag and drop makes me think that this is a JavaScript based thing. So Laravel, Google Calendar, no. Object-oriented calendar management. This doesn't sound like a visual thing though. Oh, looks like it is actually. Factory get events. Interesting. Returns an array of events here. Hold on. Let me read this from the beginning. So get here, get events for the year. You can go through months and you can show events within the month. Okay, create your event class, which gives a start and an end. Makes sense. This UID, that. Create your event provider and add your provider to the calendar. What's that noise? I hear like a jingly jangly noise. Do you hear that too? I don't know if I want to do events through this. I would rather just do like an overview where you render out, like, say, the last 2 months, and then you have like a back and forward for the months, and then you can pick a date based on just clicking on a calendar. I'd rather do something like that. So let's composer require this library. Composer require that. And then we'll do it for each. Let's do this, and this will be in the select date Livewire component. Can probably do that inside render. Factory month is that, and then month. In fact, you know what? So this is a year-month-day date. If I look at reflect, year-month-day. So I actually need to pass this to get the month or the year. Or what I can do is, most simple thing, carbon period if you don't need events. That's interesting. Carbon period. Carbon period. I confess I have not used that before. Pass to period. Oh, that's like the interval between them. Oh, weird. I clicked on something and it like... Cool, I guess. Weird. I'll check that out. I'll check that out. For now, let me start with this and then replace it with carbon period. I think this UI is a little bit nicer for me. The reason I say that is I don't actually need this date in here. I don't need to pass this date in here. Do I? Maybe I can say this year is, or year, month, day, explode on, oh, single quotes, explode on dash and take the date in, and then this year is, wow, month, day, year, month, day, do it like that, and then say this year, this month, and actually public use year, public use month. I'm not sure about the maintenance of this, but you'll see what I'm trying to do now. This year is this use year, this month is this use month. You're probably shouting into your screen for a better implementation of this. Use year, use month. Okay, let me just start with this, and then I'll kind of elaborate as I figure out what I'm doing here. For each month as day, and for each div day. No, just this. Oh, I didn't import it. Oh, which means I just have to do that. What? For each month as day. Undefined variable date. I guess I can still cache date. This date is date. Just for the old commented out implementation. Public date. Oh, come on. Why you do me like that? Why you do me like that? Get month. Month as week. Okay. Alright. Oh. I don't think that fixes the problem that I was having though. Which is month doesn't seem to be defined here at this point. There it is. Let's name that. I prefer that. Although, let's cache it now though, because we're trying to figure this problem out. So the month thing is there. Livewire select date. But from this point of view, it's not. I wonder if I'm in like one of those versions of Livewire where I have to say this. No. I'm not in one of those versions. So what's the deal then? I, Papa Smurf of Death, am working on a Laravel Livewire app. And it is like a feedback reflection app that I'm trying to get right. But I am sickling, which is a South African way of saying I am struggling. I am super struggle bear. So there, this says get this month, and then calendar period month probably implements an iterable. I'm trying to make a calendar view at this moment. Can you put a DD month in the actual Blade app? That's a good question. I should totally do that. DD month. That will work. What? I know what the problem is. And you help me figure this out, Papa Smurf of Death. I have properties here called this year, month, day. Here I'm giving a render thing. And the Laravel, the Livewire component properties are overriding the view props that I sent through. This absolutely helped me see what that problem was, so thank you for pointing that out. I still have a problem though. Calendar month. What? What? Oh. There we go. Whoa. Okay. Done, ship it. Absolutely. Look at that. It's beautiful. What is this day object that this calendar has for me? API day format period abstract. Is this like day format D? Is that like a date? Yeah. Okay. Wow. So I can put these in rows, div, and I can put this in a div. This is supposed to be a date picker for the day that you enter the feedback on. Class flex, and I'm using Tailwind CSS flex col width full. Flex, my coffee's getting in the way. Flex row width full as well. Class flex 1/7 I don't think is a Tailwind measurement. Flex grow H64. I don't know. Let's see. There we go. Okay, H64 might be a little bit big though. 32. Okay. And then we can item center, justify center, margin 2, BG gray 100, just to, there we go. Very cool. These can all be buttons. And then this change will actually be a wire click to set date to day format YMD. There we go. And also, what we need to do here is highlight the current day. If day format YMD is the same as date, then do BG blue 100, I guess. There we go. The first. Yay! Maybe make that like green or something. A little bit more noticeable. That's not that much noticeable. Better. I don't know. Let's just leave that over there. Okay. So this will be a date selector. So if I do this, nothing happens. Actually, nothing happens. Hello? It opened my mail client. Can you believe? I did the wrong hotkey and it opened my mail client with a screenshot of the code that I was just working on. Did it work? My internet disconnected. What was the problem? The problem was, and it did work, by the way, your suggestion was perfect. I was creating a variable in here called $month, but here I have a public property $month, and so the $month that I was doing in this view parameter was being overridden by Livewire, and this was being used instead. So instead of going through an iterator that I was passing in here, it was using 04, a string, which wouldn't iterate in a for each. So your suggestion absolutely helped me figure it out. Thank you very much. What's up with this though? Click on that, does nothing. So bad, so bad. So why click set date? You know what? emit on select date, I think is the event that this is looking for, on selected date with a string selected. So I'm just going to call that directly. I don't need to have a thing in here. So when I click on that, yay, and it shows me the answers that I did for that date. 2, nothing. Today's date, yay! So this is a calendar you can click on and you could do things for the date there. However, when you select a date, it should probably on selected date, we should probably listen for this event in here as well. And when this event happens, we should go back to the first question again. So if you go here, go through, go back to reflect, do a different date. It's not resetting that question. Terribly boring. Let's also key, I'll tell you what, let's key, we're not keying this. Do we have answer questions? Does that get the date? Yes, it does. So inside answer questions, we can also key according to the selected date. No. I guess we would have to do that from the outside. Why is that not refreshing though? We're calling that event. Reflect on selected date, this date equals selected has selected date. So this changes. Does the calendar need to highlight the days for which you have actually submitted answers? Yes, absolutely. That's actually what we're going for. That's one of the reasons I wanted to do a calendar, so that it shows you where you already have entries for. The thing is that is actually quite an expensive operation to get, now that I think about it. That's quite an expensive operation to do. Unless what we do is when you select a date, what we could do is say auth user answers pluck. Unless the calendar just renders the days you have actually submitted answers on. Yeah, but I don't want to do that. I want to be like, okay, I can see last week I submitted on Tuesday. I don't want to have like a list view. I prefer to have a calendar view because I feel like it's a nicer UI to be able to pick a certain date from. So pluck answered for, I think is this thing, dd dates. User answers. Okay, I don't have that yet, but I was on the way to adding that. Public function answers return items 5. So there are 5 dates that I've submitted answers for. 5 different times I've been deving this, I guess. and it's just going to be one answer per date. But I'm plucking these fields. So here I can say pluck each pluck map. This will probably be answer, actually. Return answer answered for format YMD. Oof, XCOM music is really property of non-object. Okay, what is answer? Is this just the pluck? Yeah, okay. But it seems like the pluck without casting. Format on a string. Okay, is there a way that I can cast this? Answer protected casts answered for, and this is a date time. Is that actually going to work? Yeah, very cool. Okay, so we get the date from this, and then we can pass that to array actually, and then no, dates. In our select date, we can say if dates contains day format, another comp. How did I get one for the 23rd? However, did I get one for the 23rd? Do I have a database entry? Answers. Updated at created at 23rd. Oh, if I click in here, what is going on? Why is that error here now? This attribute is on selected date, that string, and reflects component says on selected date, this date equals selected. I had an issue with this before where the naming of a property or an attribute as date would F me up, and I don't know why. It's actually so stupid, but I spent a long time trying to figure out what that issue was. Select date, mount date. Selected. Reflect public selected, this selected equals selected. I don't understand. I think there is some kind of like property magic that's going on in Livewire that I don't understand, where it tries to cast it. And that's really, it's really hurting me. I think I didn't update that property as well. Undefined property date. I have some commented stuff out here I need to get rid of now because we've got our calendar view. Dates contains format. This should be selected. There we go. Okay. Property date does not exist on answer questions. Somewhere in here that I've done this now. Datetime set in the view. Resources views livewire reflect.blade.php. Reflect.blade.php. Set castable attribute. Is this answered for thing that I've done now? When you create a new answer, answered for, this selected. I should do carbon pass of that. I think. No. What if I take that out completely? Is it still going to give me the error? Yeah, it doesn't have a default value. I think that is what's causing the error, is this. So that's a string, and if I set answered for to that, then I'm getting this error. Undefined method date time set. Maybe this is because I am doing that cast wrong. What do you think? Basics, no. Digging deeper. No. Eloquent ORM, that's where we are. Getting started. Casts, retrieving models. Let me do a search, eh? Yeah, no, not that. Attribute casting. Date format that. Casts, boolean. Supported cast types are date time lowercase. Magic that I hate. Is it because I needed to use a lowercase t that it is complaining? Okay, little experiment. If I click 20, it's going to see that I have a 20 on there. Which is a bit troubling, because I haven't actually entered any answer for that. This is what it's doing here. So I pass that answer in. I get this answer. Maybe I should say new answer instead and not do create. Because I don't want it creating a blank there until I've actually put in an answer. So that's today. If I hit 7th and I go back, it's not. But if I go 7th and I do 1, good job, fantastic. It's created it. It should be like the last answer that has that one in. Yeah. Okay, so it's not going to create this record until I actually do an answer. 16, nothing. 16, 2. 16, 2. Perfect. So this shows me days I have entered. I have entered answers for. This shows me what the current date is. Maybe I can change this here. Today, else the date. Here we go, and maybe make this a little bit more subtle. And then we need to have a key here. I don't really know how I want to represent this key, but in the meantime, I want to have button, wire click on previous month. On next month. It's gone super quiet in chat all of a sudden. And then I want to show what this month is. So use year, use month. Okay, so it shows what the year and the month is. And then I've got these buttons that go previous month, next month. So in here, public function previous month, public function, oh, thank you, I'll fix that now. On next month, I have an extra V. Div. Very good. And so this should say this use month minus minus if this use month is 0, this use month is 12, this use year minus minus. Ooh, those inline operators are gross, but anyway, this use month plus plus if this use month is equal to 13. Use month is 1 and this use year plus plus. Okay, I actually for safety's sake want to say greater than or equals to 12 because bounds are better than absolutes, and less than or equal to 0. Greater than or equal to 13, less than or equal to 0. Cat loving coder, welcome to the stream. So I should be able to say back, and it's rendering that because that's in this first week of the month. And I should be able to construct a date here. Cool. Well, you got me. Let's say, I mean, this is gross having to do this in here. Carbon parse. Oh, I don't like this formatting. This day. Use month. I really don't like this formatting. What did I do wrong? There. Okay, and then format that. Format YMD. Back, 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 back. And then like maybe another button to say wire click on today. And if we do this, we say this, we like this again. So you can go like far in the future and you can hit today, it takes you back to today. Far in the past, hit today, it takes you back to today. Yes! That's cool. That's super cool. So it'll show you what days you've put in data for. What it's not doing though is when you select a date, it is not going back to the initial session step, which kind of sucks. What we're doing inside select date is saying emit on selected date. And so in reflect, we are listening for that event. And that is what hides the calendar and shows the answer for. But protected listeners, in answer questions, we are also trying to listen to this. Protected listeners, is that correct? I'm super paranoid now. I'm just going to copy this and delete that one thing that we don't need. Super paranoid. Okay. This question is session get answers questions that, and probably we want to put that as well. Let's do that, and then we can just reuse that. This question is that. Because what I wanted to do is go back to the beginning. It's still not doing it though. What on earth? What on earth? That's not the first question, you dodo. You see, I've got this logic. The app is about capturing feedback for people in the company where I work. So we do these one-on-ones, and part of that is asking or telling someone that's having the one-on-one what feedback they have for people that work with them. But what happens, I find, is that people are super shy and super polite, and so if they don't have anything useful to say in feedback, they will default to, yeah, it's really great working with that person. And that is nice to hear in moderation, but gets really frustrating because then as the person getting the feedback, you don't know what to improve on or where you are falling short. And so the app takes people through the process of asking questions grounded in their work. Are they proficient at stuff, as proficient as they want to be, and is there room for growth there that they can stick in comments? How are they handing their work over? Can they improve their what's their communication like? These are all very, very grounded in their day-to-day work. And so when someone is giving feedback, like Sue is giving feedback for Joe, Sue can say, I don't really know off the top of my head what feedback I'd give, but Sue can go through the questions and say, oh yeah, okay, well, how's their communication? Yeah, it's good. What about handing over? Well, it could be better in these ways. And so the feedback is very useful. I had planned to do that peer review side of this app, because thus far it's just been you answering as the person that's asking questions of themselves. But then I fixed a couple bugs, which took a whole long time to figure out what the what the cause of them was, and then I started on this calendar view, and I'm kind of I'm kind of digging the calendar view. I think that's going really well, um, but yeah, I don't think I'm going to get to that peer review side of things today, unfortunately. Um, but I think this has been good progress. I just want to clean up this header section quickly. So I'll put all of these things in a div, and then I'll do the usual nonsense here, except that this must be a row, and then I will do another div here, because this today button must be off to the side, and here again, same nonsense. However, this will be flex grow, not width full, flex grow, and this div will be flex shrink. So this is the first thing. This will push today off to the side there. And then here I can say item center, justify center. And I can give these things some padding. Class M2. There we go. Maybe let's style this a little bit as well. Text gray 700. No, 600. Yeah. Maybe we do it as 900, but we do it slightly smaller. Text SM. There we go. And let's style these buttons. Class. Let's just make them look like links. Oh, wait. Yeah. Like that, I guess. There we go. So it's super easy to see. It's super easy to see that these things are clickable. So, okay, you can go off into the future, and then you can hit back to today, and then you see these things. You can go off into the past, and click today. That's really cool. And then you can just click into these things and answer questions. 0, 1, 2. So you won't see this as green because it's still today, but you can go to other ones and then you can come back and you'll still see your answers. Still not defaulting though. I don't get why it's not defaulting. By defaulting I mean like you go forward in questions. Are you enjoying being here? And then you come back and you hit today. When you select that new date, I wanted it to go back to the very first question. And I would hate if that is the outstanding bug that doesn't get fixed now. See, I have, for answer questions, I am listening for this. But for some reason, it's not triggering that. What if I DD here? What I expect to see happen is when I select a date, that DD should pop up. That's not doing it though. You see, it's only one thing that's being updated. The nested component isn't receiving that event. Weird. Why is the nested component not receiving the event? Did something change with the API where this now needs to be public? I mean, reflect is protected and it's not getting that. Maybe because this is a nested component of reflect, it's not listening for the events. Could event listening have been disabled for nested components in this version of Livewire? Events. Protected listeners. Get listeners. If you need to name them dynamically, do get listeners, passing parameters, listening for events in JavaScript, echo. I think it's because the either it's because the component is being unloaded before before it gets the event, or event listeners are just disabled in nested components now, which is not cool if that second thing is the case. So how do we do this then? Do we just reset this? I mean, this is so gross, but we could reset this in Reflect. We could say answer questions static. It's super gross that we would have to do this. Maybe we can abstract this a tiny bit and say go to first question. And then in answer questions, just make this a public static function go to first question. This. What? Oh. So how's your dev? Go forward a little bit, go back to reflect, go here. How's your dev? Okay. Is a destroyed or unmounted hook? Is there a destroyed or unmounted? I don't know. I don't know if that. I don't think that hook exists in the public API. Not actually used Livewire before. Looks interesting. It is super interesting. I love it. It's really helped me to develop this a lot quicker than I would have been able to if I had to do like an API. Marinoid, welcome. I mean, I think it's been good. It's certainly been helpful for me to figure stuff out. Or to do stuff quicker at least. But yeah, there's drawbacks. Like so the drawbacks I've found is that the API has been like, it went through a lot of different iterations between public release and V1, which got announced at Laracon. And so over the months, I've had to constantly change my understanding of it, which is less than ideal. And so my early learning was with the different APIs, and so now I fall into these traps of thinking in terms of the previous API instead of what is current. So I will make assumptions about things like keys or how attributes are handled or what is casted, and those assumptions are just wrong, flat out wrong these days. So that's a problem for me. I think if you're only getting into it now and only seeing the APIs that are available now, it should be easier, because then you learn a pretty stable API. Yeah. I was hoping to be much further with this app based on tonight's stream. But I think the early streaming issues and the early bug fixing frustration that I was having didn't help. Okay, let me do one last run through of this before I call things. So refresh. Okay, if you go to reflect, you see today and the month around today, and you can go back in time or you can go forward in time and you can enter data for today. So let me start with 1, 2, 1, 3. 1, 3. 1, 3 is fine. Okay. So there was a bug where comment was keeping the previous page's comment, and there was also a bug that when you went backwards and forwards, it was not loading this data properly. And I fixed that in the first half of the stream. What I did in the second half of the stream was to render this calendar view, because it was previously just an input with a date string. So now you can say, oh, I forgot to enter my data for like the 5th of last month. And so there you can say 2, 2, 1. When you go back to reflect, you still see today's ones, 1, 3. But you can also go, oh, I put in stuff last month. Let me see what that answer was. And you can see what that answer was. So this kind of just lets you remember how you were feeling about stuff feedback-wise. So two things I want to do. Big features for this app. I want to add in the peer review section of this, where you answer these questions for someone else. You answer on how you feel someone else's dev is doing, or handover, or communication, or happiness, or whatever. And then dashboard, where it kind of plots what you can infer from looking back over time, but it shows you where there have been shifts, where you've said like a 0 for something and you've got context there. Maybe reflect that as like, hey, maybe this is something you want to work on. Pick like the latest 3 things or whatever. So anyway, those 2 big bits of functionality I still want to add in, but I'm happy with what's been done today. Let me commit this to GitHub. So we changed the date properties to selected because I thought that would be better to avoid the weird casting stuff I encountered a few streams ago. Yes, and when you go into answering the questions, I now say new answer, so that it doesn't create this database record before you've changed any values. So you can go into a date, oh, this is an accident, I don't want to put stuff in here, go out, go back, and it doesn't create that empty record. What else? I go back to the first question when you pick a new date. I have a way, like a really convoluted way of going backwards and forwards in months with this use day, use month nonsense. What else? Calendar rendering, casting answered for, getting all answers. Oh, this is really interesting. So this is interesting code. Auth user answers. So this gets a query of answers belonging to the user. Pluck answered for, which I'm casting to date time. Map that date and return the formatted year, month, day of it. That's really cool code. So it's one database query and then a map to convert to Carbon and then format out of Carbon, so that I can have the same format that I'm displaying on the front end. And I can probably use a constant here and in the view, so that like a config constant, so that I can change this format in one place. But for now, I think this is really cool. So render a calendar for date selection. Okay, and then I need to SSH forge at measure. I don't know if this is doing automatic deploy. No, obviously not. npm run prod. This will minify the assets for production, which will make them teensy tiny. Teensy tiny. Wow. Teeny tiny. Teensy tiny. Whatever. And then it should be possible for even you, esteemed stream watcher, to go to measure.assertchris.io to log in with your Google account. And to see these latest changes. Cool, eh? Super cool. And so you can see dates that you've entered stuff in before. Like I've entered stuff in here, probably just testing it in production. But I've gone through with other people on my team who have actually entered data for this month. So it'll be cool when they log in for them to be able to go back in the calendar and see, oh, they entered stuff in, and go look what those answers were. I'm super excited about that. Anyway, I need to go. It's getting on a bit here in nighttime South Africa. Thank you very much for being here and interacting so much in chat. Thank you for all the new people who've popped in. It's been really good chatting with you and getting to know you a little bit. Please do give me a follow if you want to hear when I go live, or actually just check me out on Twitter at AssertChris, because there I tweet when I'm going to go live. I'm here Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, usually. And which means I'm going to be here tomorrow night for another stream. I might actually work on this a bit more. We'll see. I'm not really sure about what tomorrow night's stream is going to be. Hopefully Streamlabs OBS behaves then. Yeah. thank you for being here. I'm a bounce. Bye.